I cannot deal with this. There's not enough light in here, so we are going to get a window. Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to tell you about how to install 3 types of windows into your van. 1, bunk windows, 2, sliding door windows, and 3, rear windows. So make sure to follow along and get tips on how to install them into your van. So today we are going to install our C.R. Lawrence bunk windows that we ordered. In order to do this, you're going to need a few materials. You're going to need a Sharpie, some tape measure to measure out the windows, as well as if you wanted to use a straight edge of some sort, like a ruler. And then in order to make sure your template is correct, you're going to need to make a template. We have half of our template made with a cardboard box. We just measured it and then cut it out. And then when you want to put the hole into your van, you're going to use a drill to just punch out the initial holes. And then we used a jigsaw to cut out the entire, or we're going to use a jigsaw to cut out the entire window. Once that's all cut and the window is ready to be put on, you're going to use some Rust-Oleum paint to make sure to prevent rust from forming on those metal edges. And then you screw the screws in with a drill. So we're excited to get started.
So we finally got our C.R. Lawrence bunk windows. We have 2 of them. As you can see here, there's a screen on one side and it slides open to let some air in. So this will be facing outward like this, right about in this location. We took off this strut to make some space for it, and we're gonna have to take off this backing to make a template. And then we're gonna draw on here what the template is and kind of start drilling our holes to get ready to cut through the side of the van.
Well, I left Dylan alone and he forgot to film. So So in order to put the windows into the van, the first thing you need to do is take off the metal strut. So Dylan, why don't you tell us what you did?
All there is like a little welded piece right here on either side. Right here and right here. So a lot of people cut this off, but it can be messy like that. So one thing we did was we took a chisel and hammered it right here. We're gonna have to clean up these little spots probably to make sure that no rust or anything happens. But otherwise it kind of just peels off of this adhesive. It worked out pretty well.
So we're making a template right now. Dylan is using the window on the cardboard box, and we're going to use that to cut it out and then make a template on the van.
We're going on the inside because this flange right here and this part right here clamp onto the cut part of the window. So we can draw the template from the inside of here, and then when we cut, the window will be long enough to clamp to.
So we used a template, and then we also did some measuring. So we first just measured the window and put those raw lines on the van, and then we taped it out so it was straight. And then once we had the tape on, we had this makeshift template for the sides, because otherwise we were worried the rest of it wouldn't be exactly right. And as they say, measure twice, cut once. So we're gonna keep measuring and make sure it's correct. All right, it's time for our first hole. Here we go. We're gonna go ahead and drill a hole right in the middle of the window just to test it. There she goes, our first van hole. Woo! So we made this garbage bag where we taped it to the bottom so that we don't get any of the pieces or the scrap metal into like the cracks, and it will just go on the plywood that we can vacuum it up later. Woo! All right, so we have a couple practice holes in the middle, and then we have these outline ones that are gonna guide where we're gonna cut with the jigsaw. Dylan has the full look going on. He's using socks for arm protectors. He's got his nice safety goggles, his mask, and his lovely dovely noise canceling headphones, or noise reducing. Here we go, we're using the jigsaw. All right, now we're gonna test with the opposite side window, but we're gonna put it on and test to see if it fits. Go ahead.
My arms look ridiculous.
The sock arms. How's it look? Looks like we have a window.
And we know this window's for the other side. This is just the test one.
Now we get to remove all the tape, and then we're gonna take some Rust-Oleum and put it along the edge so that the van does not rust.
All right, Lita, what happened to your eye?
A 4-year-old. I got into a little bit of a scrape with a 4-year-old and a lacrosse stick. You know, it happens to the best of us.
What were you guys playing?
Monkey in the middle. All right, so we have cut our hole out, and now I'm just painting with Rust-Oleum so that these cut sides don't rust over.
And as you can see, some of our drills holes poke out away from our edge, but the clamp of the window will cover those, so it'll be all good.
Woo! Now we've got 2 holes in our van. Whoop whoop! All right, we've got the window in. I'm holding it here, and Dylan is checking the spacing and everything. And then he is going to go ahead and screw it in so that it is nice and it's attached to the van. The first window is all the way in. Look at that beauty. It was kind of hard to line up these holes, so eventually we had to use the impact in the very end, but first we screwed it in with our hands and then we used the impact. Time to take the sticker off. Oh, look at her. All right, we're gonna test our windows with the bucket test. We already had some rain and nothing came in, but let's go for it. We've got no water on the inside of the window. All right, after a lot of struggles, our windows are in. How are we feeling about it?
Very happy that it's over.
Oh, happy it's over and on to the next project. Reunited and it feels so good. Not. All right, so we already installed our bunk windows, and now we're going to install a T-vent window that will go in our passenger sliding door. We got it from C.R. Lawrence, and as you can see, it's right here. It's going to use a lot of the same methods that we used for the bunk windows. So for the T-vent window, we don't need to make a template as it says online. You just need to cut around right there. So there's already lines, so we're just gonna make some pilot holes and then cut out what's already lined out on the van. Dylan, what are you doing?
I saw someone online do this. They put some tape on here so that when you're jigsawing and you press up against the surface, it doesn't scratch metal on metal very hard.
Another pro tip is to make a straight line using a straight edge so that when you're cutting, you know how to cut the bar in the middle of the window off. Now we're putting some tape along the edges of the window just so when we run the saw around, it doesn't scrape the metal. Dylan drilled one pilot hole and now he's gonna go around with the jigsaw all the way around the edge in a circle. Dylan, what you wearing?
I'm wearing a shirt around my ears because little metal shavings keep hitting me in the neck. Not like in an unsafe way, but in like a tickly, tingly way that I don't want it to happen anymore.
All right, the hole is cut. And now we're gonna test to make sure the window fits in. Okay, so now we have it in place and we're going to screw them in. We've taped it to hold it so I can hold the other side while Dylan screws it in. All right, it's kind of dark in here, but now the window is in. As you can see, all the screws. And our window is officially in. Look at this shiny, beautiful window. I pushed the T-vent part out. Besides the fact that the stickers won't come off, it looks great. Another pro tip, if you don't have rubbing alcohol, you can just use some vodka. I have Tito's to get some sticker residue off the windows. I already have half of it off. I'm gonna take the other half off and just rub it with a rag. A shiny window brought to you by Tito's. All right, so we have our other window currently getting painted for rust protection, and we're gonna put in 2 rear driver windows that we also got from from Van Windows Direct. Again, we've taped it. We're just gonna use the outlines from the door that are already there, and we've taped it so that Dylan doesn't scrape any of the metal along the van's edge. All right, so again, we did the pilot holes with the jigsaw around, and now we're taping it to stabilize it as Dylan goes. But this one's going a lot faster, right, Dill? Oh, hello. The first step is we got this weather sealing mold, and we're going to put it all around the cut edges of the window. So we're putting this weather sealing mold onto the van, and Dylan is hammering it so that it gets really close to the edge of our van. After you've put the weather shield on, you're going to just clean the outside edges where you're going to put the adhesives on.
It's now nighttime, or at least the sun went down, so we're using this flashlight as a spotlight light. We're gonna finish up these windows before we call it a day. So Lita's currently putting some primer on. They said you only really need 1 line of primer. So she's kind of trying to go around, not too close to the edge of the van, but in the middle in between the window seal and the edge of the door. Now we just let it go for 10 minutes and then put on the adhesive.
So once you have your primer and it's dry, then you're gonna put this adhesive all around the edge. You wanna do a thick line. I don't know if you can see, but it's pretty thick right there. We're gonna do it all around the edge. All right, the adhesive is on, so now we're gonna put up the window and hold it up. And then we're gonna hopefully put it on straight. Once the window is in and you like where it is, you're gonna press hard on it, and then you're gonna put some painter's tape to make sure it stays in place. So this is what our one window looks like. This window still needs the adhesive and the window. Both windows are in and they're being secured by painter's tape and the adhesive, obviously, but we are going to call it a night and check on them in the morning. All right, morning has come. I've taken the tape off, and look how beautiful those windows look. Are those holes in the van? No, they're Now we've got 5 windows in total. Our bunk window, our T-vent window, and our rear windows. Hey guys, thanks for checking out our video. If you liked what you saw, make sure to subscribe and follow along for all of our van build and then our van life adventures.